Benvingudes i benvinguts a Tots al Blitz, el primer programa en català dedicat a l'NFL, que avui no està dedicat a l'NFL, sinó a l'ELF. Però vaja, ja ho sabeu que també és una lliga que anem seguint i que ens agrada molt. La Lliga Europea de Futbol Americà ha començat la seva tercera temporada, ja ha començat fa unes setmanes, i ens està portant emocions barrejades. I avui en parlarem, com sempre, amb el Raul Arribas i el Ferran Àngel. Hola, Raül. Hola, Ferran. Què tal? Com esteu?
Hola.
Molt bé, bon dia. Què tal? Com estem?
Bon dia, sí, és de dia, és raro veure-us de dia.
Tinc llum natural aquí. Sí.
Sou com jugadors brasilers, és molt raro veure-us de dia, és una cosa que no ha passat mai. Escolteu, deia que parlarem una mica de l'ELF.
Avui és el típic programa que em feu perquè jo pugui parlar de quan era jove, oi?
Correcte, sí, és el teu
Moltes
moment
gràcies.
nostàlgic, és el teu moment memberberry, és aquesta cosa.
El moment del Ferran és tot el tema pre-draft i draft, aquest estiu és perquè jo recordi quan era jove i després ja arriba l'NFL i ja està.
I després ja arriba quan hi ha Rodgers que fa coses rares, llavors és el meu moment.
Molt bé.
Per cert, Hard Knocks.
Sí. Te l'han fet, te l'han tiradeta tensa al punt de penal.
Sí. No sé si ho sabeu, però s'ha anunciat que el Hard Knocks d'aquest any serà els New York Jets, on tenim un senyor que, entre ayahuasca, doncs... Estaria bé que li donessin una GoPro.
Que tots sabem que el Hard Knocks no serà dels Jets, serà Hard Knocks Aaron Rodgers.
Sí, clar. No, és que és lògic que serà...
Vaya rajadetes veurem dels Packers.
Ja, Hard Knocks serà Rodgers rajant de Green Bay tot el dia. Però vaja, escolteu, avui no parlarem de Green Bay ni parlarem de Rodgers, però sí que parlarem amb un quarterback, segurament un dels millors quarterbacks que està jugant ara mateix a Europa. És el quarterback dels Barcelona Dragons. Ha arribat, diguem-ne, directament des de Fort Lauderdale, a Florida, i ara és, doncs, dèiem, el quarterback dels Barcelona Dragons i està jugant la seva primera temporada com a quarterback titular a Barcelona o a Terrassa, digueu-li com vulgueu. Òbviament estic parlant de Conor Miller. Welcome, Conor.
Hola, bon dia a tots, com esteu?
Molt bé, moltes gràcies. Benvingut.
Moltes gràcies.
Com estàs?
Molt bé, merci.
Fins aquí el teu català?
Ja està tot el meu català. Ja està tot.
Bueno, però està bé. Està molt bé.
Moltes gràcies.
Abans de començar, ens explicaves una cosa fora de càmera, que és que ara estàs vivint a Salou, entre Salou, Reus, entrenes a Reus. El català de Reus, què tal?
Es mucho mejor. En Salón no hay mucho catalán, no hay mucho español, solo inglés, solo alemán. Pero en Reus es más una ciudad auténtico. Me encanta mucho Reus, pero tengo que aprender más catalán. Es un poco embarrassing to hablar solo en español con todos mis amigos catalanes. Temporada próxima podemos hablar en catalán.
Home, magnífic, fenomenal.
Una pregunta ràpida,
digues.
Conor. Ja que estan a Salou, ja has estat a PortAventura?
No, mis amigos Luke Glena, el safety, y Josh Johnson y Theo Landstrom, el fin de pasado, el bye week, durante el bye week, fue en el PortAventura, pero yo no, mi novia es aquí ahora, no hay mucho tiempo, pero mis amigos encantan mucho. ¿Dónde son? My roommates, they love it. Todos vamos a volver un día.
Bueno, ara han estrenat una atracció d'Uncharted, no sé si ho saps, però no sé si has jugat al joc, l'Uncharted.
Yeah, I think Luke and Josh, I think they saw it. They saw everything. Han visto todos. I think creo 8 horas en un día en PortAventura. Locos, pero muy divertido, dicen.
Conor, la primera pregunta, ara sí, anem a la primera pregunta, és, hem llegit i vam sentir que deies que quan vas fitxar pels Dragons, que tu que des de petit que els Dragons eren una cosa que a tu t'agradaven molt i que els tenies com molt presents i que ja els coneixies. Això és veritat que tu de petit ja volies jugar als Dragons?
Sí, es verdad. No es como Dembélé. Me encanta mucho Barcelona y Catalunya. fue un supporter, fue un culé desde since 2006, Copa Mundial. Y Barcelona, creo por mí, Barcelona es el lugar en Europa más como Miami or South Florida, where I'm from. So por mí, con la playa, con the weather, el sol, y es perfecto por mí. Y it's like I said in the interview when I was younger and I was playing Madden 2003. They had the NFL Europe teams and I would use the Dragons, and that was just kind of the team I used. And so that was, I didn't know really anything about NFL Europe at that age, but that made me, I guess, kind of a de facto Dragons fan. And then, we played against the Barcelona Dragons last year when I was with the Flash in Paris, and I'll never forget, the fans at that game were crazy. We were up at like 40-7 or something, and I think it was now my teammate Raul Arribas scored a touchdown, and the whole stands went crazy. And I was like, wow, like these people love football, like they really. And so like it was always like a dream of mine to come back. And kind of when the Dragons were announced, I remember I was in Austria, and I just remember thinking, I'm going to play for that team one day. I'm going to play for that team. So it was a dream come true.
One question. When you've mentioned that you played in Madden with Dragons in 2003, but you were not following the NFL Europe. What made you choose the team? It was the logo? It was Barcelona? It was just by chance?
Honestly, I can't remember. I was very young. But, we were, as kids playing video games, we'd play, NFL teams, so like Tennessee Titans versus St. Louis Rams or whatever. And then we say, okay, now we play European teams. And it was probably just random. It was probably just random that I ended up with Barcelona, and then my friends would take, Frankfurt Galaxy, or I believe it was Amsterdam Admirals.
Yes,
believe.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that was the team
like
where Kurt Warner's played here in Europe.
Oh wow! I didn't even realize that.
You didn't know?
I knew he was in Europe. I didn't remember which team.
Yeah, he played for Amsterdam.
Okay, yeah. But I was always the Dragons, and so that became my team, I guess, of NFL Europe.
Cool.
Conor, per la gent que potser no et coneix tant, com et defineixes tu com a quarterback?
I would say that I'm a pocket passer. I think my strengths are being accurate with the ball, knowing where to go, knowing best which receivers will be open, knowing how to read coverages, read defense, and then just a leader of the offense. Trying to make sure my teammates are all able to play with confidence and be in the best places to be successful. I'm a quarterback who knows the offense very well and who's able to audible, change the plays if I think there's a better play against the defense. And just a quarterback who wants to get the ball to my playmakers and, let them make plays and do what they do best.
I la teva adaptació a Barcelona amb els Dragons, com està anant aquesta primera temporada? Com l'estàs visquent, arribar a una franquícia que està començant d'aquesta manera també, i com et veus ara mateix?
Amazing. It's been everything I've hoped it could expect. Obviously, we need to, the last 3 games have been very tough, but I think just as the city, as Catalunya as a whole, it's been incredible. The people are so nice, and the fans, these are the best fans I've ever seen in Europe. So passionate, so much heart, and my teammates are great. And it's just, it's been a dream come true, especially being here in Reus now. It's, a true Catalan city, and I love it. It's been everything I could expect and more.
Què creus que ha passat en aquest procés? Ara deies que els últims 3 partits han sigut 3 partits complicats. Com veu començar amb 2 victòries al principi i ara hem tingut aquest petita crisi de joc? Què creus que està passant?
It's It's been tough. We started the season with two big wins, and I think it's tough to say. We haven't executed well enough as players, the coach's game plans. Just speaking offensively, we had the problem against the Raiders. I believe we had the ball 3 times within the 30-yard line, and where we didn't score. And then against the guards in the last game, we had the ball on the 1-yard line twice and came away with 3 points combined. And the game ends up going into overtime. And if we score 1 touchdown there, we win the game, and there's no question. So it's little things, but this league is so good. For example, like every team, there are no bad teams in this league. And people look at the guards with their 0-5 record. That was the best 0-5 team I've ever seen. You look at their players on defense. In my opinion, Maceo Beard, the corner number 1, he's the best European corner in the whole league. Ken Hike, number 2, he's a great player. In the box, they have J.R. Tavai, who's an NFL player. Tim Haney came over from Hamburg Sea Devils, played in the championship game. That, and of course their coach is Norm Chow, who's a legend. So that's an 0-5 team, or it was an 0-5 team, and that is a good football team. So every team in this league is good, and it's the margins are so small. If you don't capitalize on your opportunities, you're not going to win games in this league. And I think we haven't done a good enough job capitalizing on our opportunities these past 3 games. And especially this week coming up, we have the Raiders, who, coming off a loss, they're going to be hungry. That's a very talented team. They beat us week 3. So we're going to have, it's going to come down to capitalizing on our opportunities. And we know if we make too many mistakes, we're not going to be able to beat these football teams. So we got to limit the mistakes.
Conor, ara que parlaves de jugadors de la Lliga, aquí a Barcelona la temporada passada i l'anterior de quarterback estava Zach Edwards, que va causar molt bones sensacions i la gent li agradava. Notes la pressió d'haver-lo de substituir?
No, not at all. Zach is actually, Zach's in Paris now. We're going to play him in a couple of weeks. He was actually one of the first people who reached out to me when I signed for the Dragons and told me, like, hey man, you're going to love it. Like, the fans are great. You're going to love your teammates. And like, if you have any questions or anything, like, let me know. Like, I want to help you. And like, Zach is a really good dude. So, I know in the first few weeks of the season that people were trying to make it a rivalry of like him against me or whatever. Sorry to disappoint, but we're actually
No.
no. I'm not saying you guys. I'm just saying in particular. But he like you said, he's incredible, and I believe he should have won the MVP last year. I think he was the best player in the league. I have a ton of respect for him and the way he plays the position. And it's funny because he's with my old teammates in Paris now, and I'm with his old teammates here in Barcelona. So he told me, he's like, looks like we did a little switcheroo. But the guys I talked to in Paris, they love him. He's a great player, great competitor, great person. But, as far as being here, that was one of the things Bart Iacarino, the general manager, emphasized is like, we didn't sign you to replace Zach Edwards. We signed you to be Conor Miller, and, do what you do best. And don't worry about who came before you or what anybody's expectations are you of. So I just feel the responsibility to be the best version of myself for my teammates and for this organization and our amazing fans, and to do what I do best. So there's no pressure to replace him in that sense, because you can't replace Zach Edwards. He's a one of a kind special player, and so I think anybody who tries to replace Zach or Kyle Sweet or Alejandro Fernandez they're doing a disservice to themselves and the team. We just need everybody to be themselves.
Abans parlaves de la ELF, no? Que és una lliga molt bona i que hi ha molts equips molt bons, tots els equips són molt bons, perquè tu vas arribar aquí a Europa el 2019 i has jugat a Alemanya, has jugat a Àustria, has jugat a França, ara estàs jugant a Catalunya. Des del 2019 fins ara, tu has vist una evolució en el futbol europeu? Vull dir, està millorant el futbol europeu en general?
Absolutely. I think so when I got here in 2019, fresh out of college, I played in the GFL, and there was no ELF at that point because it was 2019, and then there was COVID 2020, so nobody played. And then 2021, the ELF started, and nobody really knew what to expect. But, I think this has been the greatest thing that's happened to American football in Europe since the World League and the NFL Europe. You have all the best players in one league now. For example, we play against Milan, we play against Innsbruck, we play against Helvetic Guards from Switzerland, and we play against all the best players from their countries, and I think just that has naturally helped the game grow so much because, like I said before, there are no bad teams in this league, at least not that we've played. So each local team feels the pressure to raise their level and to keep getting better, and just to be able to compete with these teams in all over Europe. And I think the level has gotten so much higher. Since I arrived in 2019. I think there's no comparison, and I hope it continues to grow like this.
Conor, acabes de dir que precisament vas venir a Europa quan va acabar el teu temps a college. Com un quarterback, òbviament, dels Estats Units, que jugar high school, jugar college, va fent aquesta carrera, acaba jugant a Europa, perquè per nosaltres des d'aquí, clar, no coneixem aquest procés intern, tenim molt al cap el procés high school, college, NFL, però no aquest salt a Europa, com arriba. Com funciona això? Ets tu qui et pots en contacte perquè estàs interessat? És que t'arriben ofertes d'equips europeus? Explica'ns una mica aquest procés.
Yeah, so it's very interesting because I think it's different for almost every player. In my case, I had just finished college and didn't get drafted in the NFL, didn't get invited to training camp before the season. So for me, it was, at that time, there was no XFL, there was no USFL. God, it seems like so long ago. But there was the CFL. It was really the CFL or the NFL, or in North America, that was it. So I was, speaking with my agent and my quarterback coach, it was, okay, you can do CFL tryouts, maybe you get invited to a mini camp, but the CFL is different football. There's 12 players instead of 11. The field is different. The rules are different. And it just, like, it wasn't the same game I was used to playing. So I found out about the GFL through one of my old teammates from junior college. And he was over playing in the GFL 2 or something. And I was like, what in the world? Like, there's football in Europe? And so I reached out to a coach, and long story short, within 2 weeks, I was getting ready to play my first game against Dresden with the Cologne Crocodiles. And I'm like, okay, like, here we go. So that was kind of my story. But like, for example, I was just talking to Luke Glenna about this last night, and he was saying that it was a similar thing. Like, he saw football in Europe through a friend or something who ended up going over there. So he made a little profile. There's a website called europlayers.com where you can reach out to every organization with American football in Europe. It's really easy, actually. And Bart Iacarino, the general manager, reached out to him, and he's like, okay, I guess I'm going to Barcelona. And so it's interesting. If you ask 10 different American players how they found football in Europe, you'll probably get 10 different answers, because it's like, in the question we always get when we're back in the States is, oh, you play football in Europe, or you play football in Barcelona? It's like, are you playing in the Camp Nou with Lewandowski and Pedri? It's like, no, it's American football. Oh, I didn't know they had football over there. Is it the same? Yes, it's the same football as here. NFL rules. Oh, really? Yeah, the European League of Football. And like, so I would say the knowledge of that there's football here is so, like, American. I'm not going to get into my opinions about Americans now that I'm living over here.
No, but I mean, it's kind of normal because the difference in level is quite high. I guess football keeps improving in Europe. We will get to a point where even it will be below, obviously, college or NFL, of course, but it will be better known. But right now, I mean, it's normal because it's like, I don't know, if about soccer, you ask us about, I don't know, leagues in countries where are not top level. It's very hard for in this globalized world. It's very hard to know have updated information about leagues that are not the main ones.
Yeah, but I will say that the European League of Football does such a great job on social media, with Instagram, Twitter, that more and more people are discovering it. And like I'll just see random people will send me messages like, "Hey man, I found this league. I didn't know it existed. This is great, but I'm a Dragons fan from Iowa." It's like, okay, awesome, like that's great. So I think any way of expanding the knowledge of this league in the United States, I think would gain a lot more viewers for the league, just because Americans love football. And so right now there's no other football going on. Maybe the CFL, but like I know for sure in college, if we would have known on a Sunday when there was no NFL, obviously no college football, that the Barcelona Dragons were playing the Milano Seamen, we would have tuned in and watched. Like, we just enjoy watching football. So, I think as the league starts to spread with more information to the US, a lot more viewers will come. Like, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, I think, it may sound strange to have like a Barcelona Dragons fan in Iowa, but here you have a New York Giants fan in Barcelona and a Green Bay Packers fan in Barcelona too. So it's the same distance.
Yeah, or FC Barcelona fan in South Florida.
Exactly. Yes.
Tu has jugat en els Leipzig Kings i vas estar 3 partits, crec, al final de la temporada passada, i ara s'ha anunciat que han deixat de funcionar, han cessat les seves operacions, que és la manera aquesta que es diu. Com ho valores? Què creus que podria passar amb altres franquícies? És un fet aïllat?
That's a good question. I think, and granted, I don't know exactly the circumstances between the two, but with Leipzig or with Istanbul last year, and then now Leipzig, that's 2 franchises who have gone away. I don't know the financial situation of the teams in the league, so it's tough to say. I certainly hope not. I hope that's not something that could happen to more franchises. Leipzig, like I said, I wasn't there very long, but I do like it. Like, I am thankful to Leipzig for giving me an opportunity last year, and from a football perspective, it probably wasn't the best fit, but they took really good care of me. Their owners, Moritz and Mark, are very classy gentlemen. After I got injured there, the very next day, Moritz called me and said, "Hey, whatever you need, we'll make sure you have it. If you want us to fly you back to Florida, if you want to stay here, we'll let you go to the doctor, let you go to physio, we'll pay for it all. We just want to make sure you're comfortable." So I have a ton of respect for Moritz and Mark, the owners of Leipzig. I don't know. I haven't gotten much information on exactly what happened. I've read the same statements that you all have read from the Kings and from the league. But I hope it's not. I hope it's not something that continues to happen, of course, and I hope the league can keep growing. And I'm sure in the very early years that it's not making money like the NFL yet, but I hope that one day that it can continue to grow to the point where it does make a lot of money and just keep getting stronger.
S'ha anunciat que l'any que ve, tu que a més ets del Barça, s'ha anunciat que l'any que ve hi haurà un equip a Madrid, en principi. Suposo que això és una cosa que a tu t'engresca, a més que sabem que coneixes una mica la idiosincràsia, diguem-ne, dels catalans. Ara m'agradarà veure com tradueixes idiosincràsia, Raül. I això, vaja, que saps que la rivalitat Barcelona-Madrid, això serà una cosa que només farà que beneficiar-vos, però entenc que l'any que ve esteu ja preparats per afrontar aquest repte.
It'll definitely be a rivalry. Barcelona doesn't like Madrid, and Madrid doesn't like Barcelona. I think everybody knows that. And I'm sure for 100%, there will be players playing for Madrid who have played for the Dragons before, so that'll just add to the rivalry. But I think it'll be good for the league to have that kind of rivalry. I don't totally know about the logistics and which players would go where. I guess that's on a player by player basis, but It'll be a good rivalry for sure. I don't know who's owning the Madrid team. I don't know I guess they don't have any coaches yet or anything.
I think nobody knows, to be honest. We just know that there's going to be a team, and there was a picture of a man, and they said that man was behind the operation. But as far as I know, that's everything we know. I mean, I know nothing else.
Yeah, I didn't know that was Xabi Alonso or who that was, but...
Yeah, I even forgot about the name, but yes, it was like, they announced the team and nothing else.
Yeah, but, I know there are guys from Madrid who are playing abroad right now, guys like Celestine, played for the Dragons last year, Alejandro Fernandez, obviously, with Ryan Fire, Mario Flores. So, whether those guys will come back and play for Madrid, I don't know. But it's definitely going to be interesting, and the Dragons will be here. I pray that I'm able to be a part of the Dragons for many more years. I definitely do not want to leave. It'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting to see who goes, who stays, and to see what becomes of this Madrid franchise. Obviously we don't know the name yet, but. It'll be interesting.
És una cosa molt espanyola, tot el tema de Madrid al voltant d'això. Vull dir, l'owner no sabem qui és, però sí que sabem que és una mica Cayetano. La pinta la feia una mica. Llavors, és un concepte, Conor, que crec que ve per després, ja és 2.0. Ja és,
sí, si em fas que l'intenti traduir Cayetano, vull dir, necessitarem temps,
Aquí en cap moment s'està traduint. No sé per què parleu de traduccions.
No, mai, això no s'està veient. El tema aquest, això no està passant. Escolta'm, Conor, aquí tenim una frase que hem parlat moltes vegades en el programa, que és que el quarterback per nosaltres és la posició més difícil del món de l'esport, en general. O sigui, de tots els esports que hi ha, el quarterback és la cosa més difícil. És realment tan difícil com sembla? Perquè a nosaltres ens peta una mica el cap, a vegades, quan pensem en tot el que heu de fer abans de jugar, quan esteu jugant, tot plegat. O sigui, com s'afronta això a nivell de... Com és jugar de quarterback? Que no acostumem a tenir ramasses de quarterbacks aquí al programa.
Absolutely. And I think you described it very well. Just the amount of decisions you have to make just for a single play. So, for example, the play comes in from the sideline, we get the play, and then we have to know every single person's job. So, for example, the running back has to know his job. It's a pass play. Who does he block? It's a run play. Where does he run? We have to know that, and then we have to know how the O-line is blocking, who each of them are blocking, so that we know who will not be blocked. So, for example, if the O-line, 5 O-linemen, they're going to block 5 guys, but if somebody who is not one of those 5 guys on defense blitzes, we have to know that there's nobody blocking him, so we have to throw. And then also we have to know how will the receivers change their routes if someone who's not accounted for blitzes. Then also, depending on how the defense is aligned, is there a better play that we could be running? Because they gave us a look we weren't expecting. And then, based on the coverage, how are the receivers going to run their routes? Are they going to be more inside, for example, or outside? Will they have to slow it down? Things like that. And then we have to make all those decisions within a very short amount of time and then throw the ball accurately. Oh, and then there are 150 kilo people coming who they just want to hurt you. So I agree. Like Peyton Manning said in the Netflix documentary, I'm biased, but I do think quarterback is the hardest position in sports. Just because there's so much mentally that goes into it.
You see already the Netflix documentary?
I started it. I started it. I got it halfway through the first episode, but my girlfriend wants to watch it.
With no spoilers, please.
No. I didn't get there. My girlfriend wants to watch it with me, so she's making me wait until she feels like watching it. So, okay. But I'm really excited. Yeah. I mean, the spoiler I can give you: Patrick Mahomes wins the Super Bowl.
and he plays the position quite well.
Man, yeah. He does okay.
Exactly.
Hi ha una cosa que, ara que parlaves això del quarterback, tu tens alguna tècnica, diguem-ne, per memoritzar o alguna manera de dir, hòstia, perquè a mi és una de les coses que més em flipa de la posició de quarterback, ja no només el ràpid que heu d'executar i tal, sinó tot el que has de recordar. No sé si hi ha tècniques o cada quarterback té la seva tècnica mnemotècnica en aquest sentit, no ho sé.
For me personally, it's just lots and lots of hours of studying and watching film and talking about things with my offensive coordinator, Coach Mickey Romero, and talking about things with the receivers. Me and my little Catalan brother, Jordi Torrevedia, we'll have conversations, 30 minutes at a time, just about how to run one route against one coverage, based on what we've seen on film. So it's just a lot of time that has to go into, a lot of time and a lot of effort that has to go into remembering things and learning how to react. And, something, because it's a great point, like you said, there is so much we have to remember. So I think something a quarterback coach taught me that's really helped me is make everything as few words as possible in your head. So, instead of saying, okay, if it's a one high safety defense, then I'm going to read the boundary side and I'm going to have a high-low with a curl. Too many words. Just one high, boundary, high-low. Two high, middle of field, inside-out read. And just try to make things as few words as possible because there's so much going on in your head. And the more words, the more cluttered it is. So try to keep it as simple as it can be because things are so complex.
Then you end up with all these funny names for plays, no? Like too high, curl, and then it's like 5 or 6 words and numbers with no relation between them. But maybe it's because of what you said. Less words, the better.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I'm sorry. And that's how it is. It's something that makes sense in my head only. But if I tried to explain that even if I tried to explain it to Luke, my roommate, he'd be like, dude, you're crazy.
Conor, ara parlàvem també del documental de Netflix i et volíem fer un petit test que no cal que sigui ràpid perquè nosaltres bàsicament som un programa d'NFL, però també ens agrada molt parlar de l'ELF i ens encanta que siguis aquí, és un regal per nosaltres, però sí que volem saber una mica com coses de la NFL, parlar una mica de NFL amb tu. Llavors hem preparat un petit test sobre preguntes de la NFL.
Okay, let's do it. I love the NFL. I try to, obviously can't watch every game, but I watch the Red Zone every Sunday in the fall. I love the NFL.
Oh!
We are very friends of Scott Hanson.
Scott Hanson.
Yes.
What is it? 12 hours of commercial-free football starts.
Oh. We are going to take this cut, okay?
Yes.
How many is it, how many hours is it? Is it 8
It's
hours?
7
hours.
7.
7 hours
Say
of commercial-free football starts now.
Can you say it again clean, please?
Okay. 7 hours of commercial-free football starts now. The best words you hear every Sunday.
Yes, we have interviewed Scott twice, and we are trying to interview him again towards the end of August. We've done it in the 2 previous seasons.
Ferran.
Doncs això, farem un test ràpid. Són 8 preguntes que bàsicament és el primer que et passi pel cap.
I'm ready, let's go.
Ok. Equip preferit de l'NFL?
Seahawks, because of Geno Smith.
Ok. Jugador preferit de l'actualitat, de l'NFL?
Geno Smith, because he's somebody I looked up to as a kid and then had the opportunity to train with him in 2020 in COVID. And he was kind of like a big brother to me that offseason. So, favorite player, Geno Smith.
I el jugador històric preferit de l'NFL de tota la història?
Dan Marino, for sure. Another guy who I had, I didn't train with him, but he was at a training and he was the nicest guy, Dan Marino.
El jugador que menys t'agrada?
Aaron Donald, because he hits quarterbacks too much.
Una paraula per definir Patrick Mahomes.
Best.
Fair enough. El teu entrenador preferit, o l'entrenador que més t'agrada més de la lliga?
Favorite coach? Mike McDaniel.
Okay.
He's funny. What's that? Yeah,
the
exactly.
nerd one.
The nerd, right. He seems like he'd be fun to play for.
Yeah. el teu estadi preferit de la Lliga, l'estadi que més t'agrada.
Hard Rock Stadium, Miami Dolphins, because I went there. I've been going there my whole life, and it was always my dream to play there, and I never got to play there yet. Maybe one day.
Vale. I el teu moment històric?
That's tough. I would say probably Tom Brady comes back from 28-3 against the Falcons. That was the best performance I've ever seen.
That's it. Conor, igualment, m'agradaria saber una mica, perquè pel que he entès, pel que m'ha semblat, tu sempre has sigut de... O sigui, tot i que ara parles dels Seahawks per Geno Smith, tu eres dels Dolphins de petit, o quin era el teu equip de petit?
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I liked the Dolphins until I got to do a workout with the Dolphins when I came out of FAU, and one of the coolest moments was I was like throwing the ball, warming up, and I felt somebody was like really close to me, but I didn't want to just turn and look because if maybe it was the head coach or the general manager or someone. So I throw the ball and I kind of look to the side, and it was Dan Marino. And he was like standing right there writing things down. And I was like, man, this is the coolest moment of my life. So it is the Dolphins, but now I have friends all over the NFL, so I really just cheer for my friends. But yeah, I would say, Seahawks, Baltimore Ravens for my friend Zay Flower just got drafted there. Minnesota Vikings, Greg Joseph, the kicker, is one of my best friends, my college teammate. Houston Texans, Motor Singletary. Colts, Isaiah McKenzie. Titans, Aziz Alshire, my college teammate. Browns, Elijah Moore, Mike Harley. Broncos, Jerry Jeudy. Jags, Calvin Ridley. Yeah, I have a bunch of friends all over, so it's hard to pick just one team, but my standard answer is just the Seahawks because of Geno.
It's great because you mentioned like half of the teams in the league, and you've not mentioned the Giants nor the Packers. So congratulations. Thank you.
The Giants, Sandra Platz. Oh no, not anymore. One of my Zion Gilbert. He's a safety for the New York Giants. My college teammate. So we can say Giants. Packers. I don't think I know anybody.
Don't feel forced. Really, don't feel forced.
Yeah, I don't know anybody on the Packers. My teammate with the Flash last year, Ryan Smith, actually played in training camp with the Packers, and he said Aaron Rodgers was the man. He loved Aaron Rodgers. So. I don't know if Packers fan. I don't know if you love Aaron Rodgers or hate Aaron Rodgers. No.
Enrique loved also in the past. Loved Aaron Rodgers. Right now in the present, not so sure.
It's a love-hate relations.
Yeah, I don't know. I get it.
I love him, but
what about Jordan Love? All in on Jordan Love now?
I'm aboard of the love train.
Yeah. Let's go. I hope he's good. I hope he has success. Yeah. I mean,
all he needs is all Enrique needs is love.
I hope he's good. My roommate Luke Glenn is a diehard Minnesota Vikings fan, so he hopes he's not. But I just like to watch good quarterback play.
Conor, com veus la NFL aquest any? Ara que et tenim aquí, quins pronòstics ens pots fer de la temporada que ve?
As long as number 15 is playing quarterback, I think the Chiefs have to be the favorites. I think my favorite quarterback and the one who I try most to play like is Joe Burrow. I love him, and I think as long as he's there with Jamar Chase, I think they'll be heard from. The AFC is so competitive. You have so many great quarterbacks. You have Mahomes, Burrow, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Tua Tagovailoa. No, I'm just kidding. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, so many great quarterbacks. So the AFC is going to be really competitive. As far as the NFC is wide open because you have Jalen Hurts, Lamar, Geno. I think the Seahawks. I mean, I'm biased, but I think the Seahawks are going to be a sleeper this year. Geno's just getting better. He's getting more time in the offense, and they had high draft picks, so they were able to pick up talent. And their receivers are stacked now. They have DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Smith and Jigba from Ohio State. I think the Seahawks will be a sleeper, especially in that division with San Francisco doesn't know who's playing quarterback. So, I think that division's wide open. Arizona, same thing. They don't have a quarterback because Kyler's hurt. And then the Rams, who knows what's going to happen after last year with all the injuries. So I don't know. I think that what happens in the NFC is going to be very interesting because the Eagles have to be the favorites, you know, after playing in the Super Bowl, bringing back Jalen Hurts, and not losing really many pieces. I think they're the favorites, but it'll be interesting to see. And then, of course, the battle of the AFC. I'm going to always pick Mahomes just because I think he's the best, but I would love to see Joe Burrow get to a Super Bowl or even Josh Allen. Like, it's just going to be really fun to watch. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, maybe following your what you said, Burrow is maybe like the most quarterback one because Mahomes plays like a kind of different sport. I mean, he makes impossible throws. He's actually, we sometimes say that he does all the things that you should not teach kids to play the position. But Burrow is like the kind of the perfect or most standard quarterback. I mean, pocket passer, reading the defense, executing plays like a machine in the positive way of it. Because Mahomes is not an example. I mean, he's just like a freak talent, and you need to accept it.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. I totally agree. It's like, and Josh Allen in a similar way too. You know, they're just so big and so strong. And you know, it's funny, it's a little story. My teammate in college, Harrison Bryant, he plays with the Browns now, but when he was coming out for the draft, he got to work out with Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. And he said Justin Herbert throws the ball so much harder than Joe Burrow. And like, he's way bigger. Like he looks like a man next to Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow looks like his little brother or something. But he said every time Joe Burrow throws the ball, it's right on the nose. Like, it's such an easy ball to catch. And it's, you know, he might not be able to throw it 80, 90 yards like Justin Herbert or Mahomes or Josh Allen, but he's always going to find the open guy, and he's always going to put the ball in he's going to throw the ball with accuracy and put it where it needs to be. So I love watching him play. And I thought, you know, someone else who I thought would be better like him is Mac Jones. I thought Mac Jones would be like the next Joe Burrow kind of, but not a good year last year. So, but he didn't really have an offensive coordinator. So
no,
I think you know,
we agree with you.
Yeah, I don't, you know, who are we to question Bill Belichick, the greatest coach of all time? But why do you have Matt Patricia and Joe Judge as the offensive coordinator?
And I suffer Joe Judge. So
oh yeah,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
it's like having Patricia with the help of Joe Judge for your offense. It's like crazy. We don't understand. But as you said, I mean, it's Belichick. You can't say anything against him. But I think he has changed his mind.
I remember there was like an anonymous player from the Patriots did an interview, and he was like, whenever we ask a question about a play, the answer is always, I don't know, or they don't have the answer. And it's like the players, you can smell that. You can smell when somebody doesn't know what they're doing. So now they have Bill O'Brien, who, you know, say what you want about his time with the Texans. He's at least an actual offensive coordinator and an offensive coach. So, you know, nobody's expecting much from the Patriots this year because that division is so loaded with the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Jets. But I think the Patriots could be a sleeper. And I think Mac Jones will be good. That's my bold prediction.
I kind of agree with you because I think O'Brien, as an offensive coordinator, he has shown that he's a good one. Maybe as a head coach, he had like more lights and shades. But as offensive coordinator, I think he has a pretty good record.
Yeah, I agree. And I think he's just coming from Alabama too, and they put up a bunch of points. So he knows
the offensive coordinator of Mac Jones in Alabama.
Yeah. And so I believe he was there when they won the national championship. So
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So they know how to work together, and most importantly, Bill O'Brien's been the offensive coordinator for Belichick before. So he knows what Belichick wants, and they have a talent. They have a really good running back, Ramondre Stevenson, a solid O-line, and then who'd they sign? I think they signed Juju Smith, right? Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, that's correct.
So they'll have weapons. I think the Patriots will be a sleeper.
Conor, deixa'm preguntar-te una cosa. És més de college i comparant una miqueta amb el futbol europeu. Perquè es diuen que les aficions dels Estats Units és molt diferent la de college que la de NFL. I tu que vas estar a Florida Atlantic, als Owls, és més comparable l'afició al futbol americà o del futbol europeu?
I would say, so college is more like I'll always have to be a FAU Owls fan, like no matter what. And college is like, it's kind of like your religion. So my dad played for University of Georgia Bulldogs. And so he like, everything is red and black. Like his wallet is Georgia Bulldogs. He lives by there. So like every Saturday he goes down to Athens, Georgia, where the Bulldogs play. And it's kind of like who you are. The NFL is people, like, I would say people like their NFL team. People love their college team. So I think it's more passionate in some ways, just because people feel more of an attachment, having my dad having played at Georgia, me having played at FAU, but even like somebody who went to, for example, Michigan State, or so, they'll always feel that attachment. They'll always feel like that team is representing themselves. So I think college is definitely a crazier atmosphere. NFL is more like, 99.9% of people never played in the NFL. So, okay, like even if I'm from South Florida, Miami, like I don't necessarily have to cheer for the Dolphins. I would say most people in South Florida don't cheer for the Dolphins. It's in my case, I cheer for the Seahawks because of Geno, or like, let's say somebody is a fan of Tom Brady. So they were a Patriots fan. Okay, now he goes to the Buccaneers. Now I'm a Buccaneers fan. So whereas you can't trade your college. Like it's part of you. I cheer for Ole Miss in college too, because my head coach Lane Kiffin and my offensive coordinator are at Ole Miss now. So I cheer for them. But if Ole Miss ever played FAU, I'm FAU all the way. Like it's not something you can get rid of.
One quick question. What do you think this happens? Do you think it's because like a college is like your first family out of your family when you grow up, and you kind of form this kind of bonds with your colleagues, with the other students, the college itself, the team? Do you think it has something about this, or it's more about tradition?
I think it's definitely it's like you said, it's your first family, like when you leave the house, and you feel, I think like people who went to the school feel that the team is representing them. So like if you went to, say, for example, Florida State, you feel like the Seminoles football team is representing you, and people will feel an extra sense of pride if the Seminoles are good, and they'll feel worse if the Seminoles are bad. Whereas if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, it's like, sure, you love the Falcons, you hope they win, but whether they win or lose, it doesn't really represent you. Because you were like, people might never have been part of the Falcons. Whereas if you went to a university, if you went to Florida State, like I said, then you feel that you are just as much Florida State as the team is, and you'll never be able to lose that.
Conor, acabarem l'entrevista i anem acabant, però abans recordar que aquest dissabte jugueu a Terrassa, als Barcelona Dragons, amb un partit molt important contra els Tirol Raiders, si no m'equivoco. I nosaltres estem fent un sorteig al nostre Instagram de 2 entrades per anar a veure aquest partit, per veure't jugar tu de quarterback, per veure aquesta victòria dels Dragons.
Bàsicament, correcte. Ara tenim aquí a la pantalla, tenim el post, i l'únic que hem de fer és seleccions automàtica, que no automàtica.
Vale. Molt bé, entre tota la gent que ha participat al concurs, recordeu que havíeu de fer like i etiquetar amb qui voldríeu anar en el nostre Instagram, que és @nfl_en català, i ja tenim guanyador d'aquest sorteig, que estem fent aquí en directe, ho esteu veient. És el Quique RJ13, bueno, l'usuari és un altre, i ara ens posarem en contacte amb tu, Quique.
I tenim 2 guanyadors substituts per si de cas fallen, amb la qual cosa,
sí,
com ho podeu veure, ho veureu en pantalla després, és tot legal, legalíssim.
Conor, doncs ja tenim, que sàpigues que en Quique i algú amb qui ell vulgui...
Li expliquem una miqueta, no?
Sí,
Conor, we are giving away 2 tickets for this Saturday in Terrassa to go there and watch you play the position with the Dragons. So this was our giveaway, and we have a winner, so this person will have 2 tickets to go to Terrassa and watch you live.
And cheer for the Dragons this Saturday. So it's a new fan of Dragons and a new fan of you from this Saturday and on.
Awesome. ¿Cómo se dice? Moltes felicitats. Moltes felicitats.
Perfect.
Conor, meravellós. Ens ha encantat tenir-te aquí. Jo crec que d'aquí 3 mesos, quan ja tinguis el català perfecte, perquè jo crec que aquest ritme ja pots venir sempre que vulguis al programa per la d'NFL, perquè ho fas millor que nosaltres. Per tant, jo crec que series un gran col·laborador del programa, que ho sàpigues. I res, que moltíssimes gràcies per ser aquí. I bueno, que vagi molt bé aquesta temporada amb els Dragons i que la temporada que ve puguem seguir xerrant i ens anirem veient.
Awesome. Muchas gracias for having me. Adeu i Força Dragons.
Que vagi molt bé, Conor. Moltes gràcies.
Per acabar, deixeu-me dir que ho sabeu, subscriviu-vos al canal de YouTube, que la persona de la meva dreta mai fa cas. I res, NFL en català, us subscriviu, campaneta, ens seguiu a xarxes. Fins la propera.
Adeu.